numbers 19 to 24. Number 19, what is an equation of a line that is perpendicular to the line whose equation is blah, 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 and passes through the point negative 6, 1. Okay, so first we need to put this in y equals form. So that means we're going to divide everything by 2. 2's cancel out there, so we will get y equals 3 over 2x minus 5. All right, next, x is going to equal negative 6. That comes from the coordinate. Y is going to equal 1. That also comes from the coordinate. And then the slope of the perpendicular line will be the negative reciprocal of 3 over 2. So that will be negative 2 over 3. Negative 2 over 3. And we need to solve for b. So we're going to substitute into this formula to solve for b. So we got 1 equals negative 2 over 3 times negative 6 plus b. So we get 1 equals, that will be this divided by that. We get negative 2. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. So we get 4 plus b minus 4 minus 4. Negative 3 equals b. So b equals negative 3. So our new equation will be y equals negative 2/3 x minus 3. So the answer is option 2. Number 20, in quadrilateral blue shown below, BE is congruent to UL. Which information would be sufficient to prove quadrilateral blue is a parallelogram? So here's a little note I wrote for you. You can always prove a parallelogram. That's a typo. That should say parallelogram. You can always prove a parallelogram by proving one pair of sides are congruent and parallel. So they already gave us that this pair of sides are congruent. We just need to prove that they are now parallel. So that means we need LU parallel to BE. So the answer is option 2. Number 21, a ladder 20 feet long leans against a building, forming an angle of 71 degrees with the level ground. To the nearest foot, how high up the wall of the building does the ladder touch the building? All right, so we got a building. So the building is always upright and it is perpendicular to the floor. So we got a building here. Okay, that's the building. Okay, maybe it's got a door here and it's got some windows. Okay, and it's got some windows, and this is just my 90-degree angle box, and then this is the floor. Okay, and then there's a ladder that's leaning against the building, and it says the ladder is 20 feet long, and the angle that the ladder forms with the ground is 71 degrees. And it says how high up the wall of the building does the ladder touch the building. So what they want you to find is this length here, this x. So if we label the sides, this will be the opposite, and this is the hypotenuse. So we need to use sine. So we will write the sine of 71 degrees equals opposite over hypotenuse. So if we put this over 1, x will be equal to the sine of 71 times 20. So let's get our calculator and let's do the sine of 71 times 20 and we will get our answer. Okay, x equals the sine of 71 times 20. So the sine of 71, make sure you close the parentheses, times 20, we get approximately 19. So the answer is option 4. 22. So look, I'm not going to bother with 22. This is the note that they wrote. This is the note that they wrote. They apparently they're accepting every answer. So it says you get awarded credit regardless of the answer. So I'm not going to waste my time with that. Okay, so for number 23, the task is to find the volume of this object. This object is made up of a rectangular prism and a half cylinder. So what we need to do is find the volume of the rectangular prism, then find the volume of the half cylinder, or it doesn't have to be in that order. You just need to find the volume of those two and then add them together and you will get your answer. But first, I want you to notice that this 27 feet is not in inches like the other measurements that were given. So let's convert that 27 feet to inches by multiplying it by 12. Let's start with that. That way we have everything in inches. So 27 times 12, we get 324. So this 27 feet is 324 inches. Okay, let's start with the half cylinder. So the half cylinder is the object that is sitting at the top. The radius of the half cylinder is half the diameter. So this, we can label that the radius. The radius will be half of 2.5. So that means the radius equals 1.25. And then the height will be all this for our half cylinder, 324 inches. So to find the volume of our half cylinder, I'm going to label it HC. We're going to do pi times 1.25 squared times the height, which is 324, divided by 2. Now, why am I dividing by 2? Well, you remember the normal formula for a cylinder, for the volume of a cylinder, is pi r squared times the height. But I need to divide it by 2 because it's a half cylinder. So I need to do that. Okay, I'll get a calculator later and figure out what that is. The next piece is to find the volume of the rectangular prism. So the rectangular prism is this object right here. Got to find the volume of that. So the volume of the rectangular prism is length times width times height. So this will be 1.25. That's the height. You see this piece right here? That's the height, and it's 1.25 because 1.25 and 1.25 makes that 2.5. So the height is 1.25, the length is 2.5, and that we can say that width is 27. So we're gonna get 2.5 times 324, and then times that height, which is 1.25. Okay, let's figure out what these volumes are, and then let's add them up. So let me get my calculator. Pi times 1.25 squared, please ignore that bell, times 324. And then I need to divide the result by 2 because it's a half cylinder. So it's about 795. And then the volume of the prism will be 2.5 times 324 times 1.25. And that's about 1012. Or we can say 1013 if we round it. So 1013 plus 795, we get 1808. So this was a toughie, but it's totally doable. I think a lot of people got tripped up with the 27 feet. They forgot to convert to 2 inches. But the main idea here is essentially find the volume of the half cylinder, find the volume of the prism, then just add them up to get your total volume. Okay, here is number 24. It says AC is 7.2, CE is 2.4. Which statement is not sufficient to prove triangle ABC is similar to triangle EDC? All right, so let's recall, what are the methods that we use to prove triangles are similar? We have angle-angle, we have side-angle-side for similarity, and we have side-side-side for similarity. So we're going to have to work through each of the choices and eliminate the ones that don't lead to any one of these. So option 1 tells us that AB is parallel to DE. Does that prove the triangles are similar? Yes, it does. Because if these lines are parallel, then you will have alternate interior angles here, and we got the vertical angles that are congruent. So already that's angle-angle. So this works. That's sufficient. Okay, let me erase those marks so I can start over with option 2. Option 2 says DE is 2.7, and it says AB is 8.1. Is this sufficient to prove any one of these? Well, it's not, because they're trying to make it seem like it's side angle side, but it's not side angle side because I was not given the measurement of DC and CB. So this right here is actually not sufficient. Even though if you were to do a proportion, even let's say you did 7.2 over 2.4 equals 8.1 over 2.7, and if you were to cross multiply, you'd get an equality, right? 8.1 times 2.4 is 19.44, and then 2.7 times 7.2. See, you get, it works out, and then somebody might say, oh, you know, they're similar, they're proportional. Actually, no, they're not. They are proportional, that's true, but it's not side angle side. They're trying to play a trick on you. It would be side angle side if that 8.1 was here and that 2.7 was here. Then you'd have side angle side for similarity, because you'd have an included angle. That means an angle in between the proportional sides. So the answer is 2. This does not prove similarity. All right. If you look at the other choices, so for example, for choice 3, I'm not going to work out the whole thing, but I'm just going to label so you can see. It says CD is 3.6 and it says BC is 10.8. If you go ahead and test it out, you would see that those sides are proportional, and then this would be side angle side for similarity. And then this one here, it would I would venture to say it gives you side 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 for similarity, because all the sides would be proportional.